Penny stocks can go from 5 rupees to 500 in a matter of weeks. So we thought, why don't we create a portfolio for you and give you a playbook so you can create one of your own and make all that moolah. Just like this portfolio right here, which made 100% return last year. And who knows how much money it will make this year. So without further ado, we'll do this in 3 steps. Step number 1, we will filter all the stocks based on a price criteria. Step number 2, we will filter stocks on another technical criteria. And step number 3, we'll add a fundamental criteria, and this is the most important part. But in true de-influencing style, we will talk about the risks. The actual risks, because these guys don't talk about it. So let's start with step number 1, but before that, hit that subscribe button right now. To understand step number 1, we'll need to understand some history. The year was 1929 and the world suffered the greatest economic setback it had ever seen, the Great Depression. But during this time, we saw the economy collapse, jobs vanish, and people were left homeless. And of course, the stock market crashed. Because of this, in 1934, the US government created the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, to regulate the markets. One interesting thing happened from this, and that was the regulation imposed by the SEC, and that was any stock priced below $5 was not allowed to list on the public exchange, and the term penny stocks was born. Since then, the perception of penny stocks, has become similar to a lottery ticket. Most people lose, but a few win, and they win big, by chance perhaps. And so the frenzy of penny stocks grew to a global level, even here back home in India.
Penny stocks.
Penny stocks. Penny stock. Penny stocks. Penny stocks.
Penny stock. Penny stock. Penny stock. Penny stock.
So there are about 698 stocks in the country below 10. Those are our penny stocks. So for step number 1, I'm going to put this in the screen and say current price less than 10. And I'll run this query. Here's what I get. I have 700 stocks. Do not buy any of these stocks. It can be really dangerous. Wait till step number 3 because the final step is the most important step. But I think one thing that's important is that from all these companies, we need a stock that is a superstar. How do we find a superstar? I know. Let's add one more criteria. A stock that has gone up 100%. Paisa hi paisa. So I'll add it, and here return over 1 year is greater than 100%, and I'll run this query. Now I have 26 companies, but I want a portfolio of 10 or 15. I want to be focused, right? So let's do that. And let's slowly move to step number 2. And over here, we're going to add another criteria. Step number 2 has to do with liquidity. And liquidity is really important. Wait, let me just show you. So imagine this is your stock and there is just a kuch boonde pani inside it, and you trade a little bit of it. See that? That's a problem. I just manipulated this little basket over here, and that's exactly what happens in a small cap. With a bunch of shares, it could be 10,000, 20,000, maybe even 1 lakh rupees, I can move the stock price from here to here, and it may seem amazing, but there is just very little water or very little liquidity in that stock. But if I buy 1 lakh rupees worth of Reliance, it won't matter. I cannot move the stock simply by placing an order, but I can do that on a really, really small penny stock. But why does this matter to you? It matters to you because if you have your money in a small company like this, a few people or even one person can manipulate it. So you have to stay away from it. So we have to make sure we add a criteria where we remove illiquidity from the scanner. And all I'll do over here is scroll down and I'll add this criteria. Volume 1 year average is greater than 50,000. Now, we could also choose to look at daily average volume, which would be more technically correct, but anyway, we'll use this one for now. And I'll run this query. But before I do that, in 2022, like I said, there were about 698 penny stocks. There are only 289, about 300, which are actually being traded in 2023. The rest have no trades at all. So imagine they could be listed, but there's no activity happening at all, and the stock is priced at X. What a waste. Let me run this query and see what happens to our total. As you can see over here, we have only 13 stocks now. But don't trade any of these because they still can be risky, and we have to gently move into step number 3. And over here, we'll actually run a fundamental check. But with penny stocks, because they are so awful, we thought we'll just run the most simplest one. You see this company and this company over here, Proceed and Geeta. Don't their charts look beautiful? Imagine you had them in your portfolio. Well, I hope you would not have them in your portfolio because their sales are 0. I don't mean 1 rupee, don't mean 2 rupees. It's actually 0, but the stock went up. I have no idea why anyone would buy them, but I do feel people get influenced just looking at price. So we thought we should add a fundamental check to this, shouldn't we? So I have a few fundamental checks over here. I'll just copy paste them. One is sales growth should be growing for 5 years, and the other is that return on capital employed should be greater than 10%. Pretty simple. I'll just add them and run this again. As you can see over here, we've got a grand total of 0. Finished. No stocks. And this is the answer to any penny stock portfolio. If you are a retail investor and you want to create a penny stock portfolio, you are thinking from greed, and you have to move away from this infinite greed machine that is the internet telling you that you can buy XYZ stock and make money. There are no freaking shortcuts in the world, and you should avoid it as well. Think about buying an index fund. Make sure you have your emergency fund in check. Make sure you have health and life insurance, your goal set, some large cap, some mid cap, and if you have some money left, you can think about trading, but never, ever think about penny stocks. Because if something is too good to be true, it probably is. The problem is not the price of the stock. The problem is that there are no traders over there. So there's a liquidity issue. The second problem is a lot of these companies are fly-by-night operators, which means they show up one day and they leave. The second, sometimes the promoters are shady. Sometimes the business model doesn't exist. Sometimes there's just no growth, no vision, no team, and all of that. Why would you take all of that risk? And all of these things put together is what possibly makes a good company. And if all of them are questionable, why would you even try? Some stories, like seeing blue chip companies priced at a few rupees and then growing up to be thousands of crores and lakhs of market cap, is completely different. Those may not have been penny stocks. Maybe the company was priced at 5 or 10 rupees, but the market cap was 1,000 crores. Price and market cap are different things. But anyway, let me tell you 2 issues over here. One is pump and dump. Imagine I have a Telegram group and I tell everyone to buy this one company whose volume is 10. Not 10 lakh, not 10 crores, just 10 shares. And all my thousands of people in my Telegram group buy it. It moves up just like this from here all the way up to there. And all I have to do is sell. Again, the problem here is not Telegram or any communication method. It's the price of the stock and the liquidity. People pushed the stock and it got pumped, and then the person who's manipulating it dumped it and made a lot of money. In this case, the operator buys way before he tells people to purchase that stock. Hence, it's called the pump and dump. And this is really common. The only way you can stay away from it is stay away from it. The second is insider trading. Imagine the same thing being done by an insider of the company. It could be an employee, it could be a promoter, etc., etc. And any of these companies could run this because they know the business isn't working. But if I do some nice advertising, people will buy it. I already own the stock, or I'll release some kind of news. Maybe the employee knows a piece of news is going to go out. As soon as the price goes up, he sells it. But all of the issue is basically to do that the company has no future, and illiquidity causes the price to be volatile. The simple thing is just stay away. Our brains are programmed to find sugar. Wherever we see dessert, we want to gobble it up. And in finance, greed is the dessert. And we feel there's so much of greed being sold in the markets, someone should actually attract you with the greed by saying stuff like penny stocks work, etc. Explain the entire process and show you the truth that in reality, it's something you should avoid. We think it's a great tool for education, and we've created the de-influencing series. If you can tell us what the next few episodes we should cover in this series, let us know. We will tell you everything, including the risks, so you can make the right decision. Well, hopefully. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, because if you don't get that encouragement, there's no point in working so hard in making this stuff. So hit that subscribe button right now.
Looks tasty. Are you rolling? Shit. Why are you rolling for no reason?
And that criteria is in my script, which I don't remember. What is it? My wife's so loud. No, love you. Are we recording? Yes.